The Blue Jays have made a major transaction. Joining us, Ben Nicholson-Smith, and this is Instant Analysis brought to you by Tylenol Rapid Release Gel Caps. Rapid Release for rapid relief. BNS, this coming down right before the holidays. Some would call it a present. Other Blue Jays fans thinking of this as maybe a lump of coal. Let's kind of try and put things into perspective here. Who is Daulton Varsho? Give us a little crash course.
He is a 26-year-old outfielder who has spent his career so far with the Diamondbacks. He's actually caught a decent amount for the Diamondbacks, but is moving more to an outfielder because he's incredibly athletic out there, makes all kinds of diving catches. The numbers really back him up as being one of the best defensive outfielders in the game of baseball. So he's someone who brings a lot of ability defensively. He's a good hitter too, above average, hit 27 home runs in 2022. So somebody who will probably hit toward the bottom of the Jays order, but a left-handed bat, and someone who can really help them with those fly balls and tracking down a lot of outs alongside Kevin Kiermaier.
Yeah, it sounds like all of a sudden the Blue Jays outfield defense has significantly improved. If I were a Blue Jay fan and I said that, is that true?
Oh, yeah, I think that's very true. And they do have some questions around health, and there's still probably room to add to that outfield mix. But to have Kiermaier in center field, George Springer moved over to a corner for the most part. Springer can still play some center field as well if they need him. But then Varsho in that mix, playing a lot of corner outfield. This is going to be a group that can go and get it with the best of them. So it's going to be a balanced attack. I mean, they can certainly hit a little bit too, with Springer at the top of that list, and Varsho someone who can contribute offensively. But really, this outfield has shifted from being offense first to defense first.
So one outfielder comes in. You could also say one catcher comes in, depending on where you want to play Varsho. And then going out, Gabriel Moreno and Lourdes Gurriel Jr., a catcher and an outfielder. Why did the Jays feel like they had to package both of those pieces in order to get Varsho?
Yeah, it's interesting because Moreno clearly was going to be someone who was talked about in trade. When you look at this offseason, the Jays had those three catchers. They had interest in all three, but Moreno was probably the easiest to trade away without impacting your 2022 or 23 team. So that is not easy to trade away because he's a good prospect and should impact at the major league level soon. But he's someone that they could part with just given their depth at that position. With Lourdes, it's a bit of a tougher one because he's helping them right now, but 1 year away from free agency. And Varsho is definitely an upgrade over Lourdes in the sense that he's a comparable offensive player who's going to be way better defensively. So that's kind of the price that they had to pay. It's a steep price. The Diamondbacks get a lot in return here, but the Jays wanted to improve, and Varsho is the best player in this deal.
Okay, so we go down the list of things that Ross Atkins is checking off for his offseason wish list, checklist. Okay, so we got some relief pitching. We've traded our catcher. We've upgraded some outfield defense. What's next for the Toronto Blue Jays?
There still is a case to be made for adding one more bat to that mix. And the Jays at this point, they probably got 11 spots on their position player roster that are spoken for, with guys like Biggio and Espinal and Whit Merrifield, maybe more in part-time roles at this point. But at this point, there's still room to add one more. The Jays have some flexibility financially. They haven't been limited all off season, so they can spend if they want to. Now, of course, the free agent market is really thin right now. There's not nearly as much out there as there was even a couple weeks ago, but there's room for the Jays to add one more piece. And I think that they'll be looking to do that before spring training.
BNS, as always, we appreciate this, man. Thanks for the instant analysis.
You got it. Thanks, Kevin.